In May 2026, the United States Department of War launched war.gov/UFO, the Presidential Unsealing and Reporting System for UAP encounters. For the first time in history, raw military sensor footage, classified intelligence reports, and decades of suppressed files were placed directly into the public domain. Within weeks, the archive received over 1 billion hits. Among the most extraordinary files is NASA audio from December 1965. During the Gemini 7 mission, astronaut Frank Borman radioed Houston with an urgent report. "We have a bogey at 10 o'clock high." Fellow astronaut Jim Lovell described a brilliant body in the sun against a black background with trillions of particles on it. The handwritten annotation on the declassified transcript reads simply, "UFO sighting" by Borman. The earliest modern military sensor footage in the archive dates to 2013. Shot in the Middle East, this infrared video shows a military tracking system locked onto an unidentified object. The sensor operator maintains lock as the object moves through the frame, an object that matches no known aircraft profile in the military's identification database. By 2022, encounters were escalating. This footage from Iraq in May of that year shows a military sensor system tracking an anomalous object over contested airspace. The object's thermal signature and flight characteristics defied conventional identification. 2 months later in Syria, a P-8A Poseidon maritime patrol aircraft detected an object via its electro-optical infrared sensor. The object was traveling at approximately 500 knots, that's 575 miles per hour, at sea skim altitude. After 2 minutes of tracking, the object vanished from the sensor entirely. But the archive reveals that these encounters are not isolated incidents. The Arabian Gulf alone produced a cluster of 6 separate sensor recordings in 2020, all captured by US military platforms operating in the region. In this footage, the military sensor maintains a continuous lock on an unidentified object over the Persian Gulf. The object exhibits no visible means of propulsion, no exhaust plume, no heat signature consistent with conventional engines. It simply moves through the sky with a thermal profile that defies classification.
Perhaps most concerning to military commanders is this 2020 recording from the Middle East. An unidentified object entered an active military training range, a restricted weapons testing zone. The military designates this type of intrusion a range fouler. The object penetrated airspace that should have been impossible to enter without authorization, and no known aircraft was scheduled in the area.
Then came the Greece footage. In October 2023, military sensors over the Aegean Sea captured what many analysts consider the most significant recording in the entire archive. An unidentified object was observed flying just above the ocean's surface and executing multiple 90-degree turns at approximately 80 miles per hour. These instantaneous directional changes are aerodynamically impossible for any known aircraft. No human pilot could survive the G-forces involved. 3 months later, in January 2024, another encounter over Greece. This time, the object appeared as a diamond shape, traveling at 434 knots, roughly 500 miles per hour. But what makes this footage truly unprecedented is that the object was only visible through shortwave infrared sensors. It was completely invisible to all other detection methods, radar, visual, and standard infrared. This suggests either engineered stealth or materials unknown to modern science. The phenomenon is not confined to the Middle East. In 2023, military sensors over Japan captured this extended tracking footage. The object moved through Japanese airspace for nearly 2 minutes under continuous sensor observation. Japan has been a hotspot for UAP activity, with multiple incidents near US military installations in the Pacific Theater. In 2024, an even more unusual object was recorded over the East China Sea. This 9-second clip shows what the military describes as a football-shaped body with 3 radial projections. It bears no resemblance to any drone, missile, or aircraft in any nation's known inventory. The Indo-Pacific Command recorded this encounter in 2024. The sensor operator tracks 2 distinct areas of thermal contrast moving through the frame. The footage represents nearly 2 minutes of unbroken sensor contact, evidence that these objects are not sensor artifacts or momentary glitches, but persistent physical presences in controlled military airspace. The encounters aren't limited to foreign theaters. This 2020 recording was captured over the southern United States, over American soil. The Coast Guard and military sensors tracked an unidentified object near aircraft operating in domestic airspace. The implications for national security are staggering. If these objects can penetrate the most heavily monitored airspace on Earth, they can go anywhere. In 2025, AFRICOM, the U.S. Africa Command, captured this footage near Djibouti, where the U.S. maintains its only permanent military base on the African continent. The object was tracked by military sensors as it moved through restricted airspace near Camp Lemonnier.
October 2023 produced some of the longest continuous sensor recordings in the archive. This UAE encounter shows sustained tracking of an anomalous object near active military operations. The extended duration of this footage eliminates the possibility that the sensor was tracking a bird, balloon, or atmospheric phenomenon. This is a solid, persistent object under intelligent control. The most recent footage in the archive was captured in 2026 over North America. This 1 minute and 49-second infrared recording tracks 2 areas of thermal contrast moving through the sky. This is not historical footage from decades past. This is happening right now, in American skies, recorded by the most advanced sensor systems ever built. And the Department of War has confirmed that the archive will continue to grow through rolling monthly releases.
Across 3 tranches, 294 declassified files, and 82 years of documentation. From World War II Foo Fighters to 2026 infrared sensor footage, one conclusion is inescapable. These objects are real. They are physical. They are in our skies. And for the first time in history, the evidence is no longer classified. It's at war.gov/UFO. The question is no longer whether unidentified objects exist. The question is, what are they?